Did it start streaming? It's
Yes.
okay.
I will sometimes send you text, sir. So
Yeah.
please check that.
Hello guys. Hi. Sorry, very sorry for the delay. We were caught up with some technical difficulties. Okay. I know some of you were very avidly waiting. Yes. New hairstyle, Yogita. Hello, Ashwini Shinde. Hello, Deeksha Gurikar. Hello, Yogita. Hello, Manya Nag. Hello, Nirmala. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Purvika Ram. Hello, Deetek. Emmanuel John Wesley. Hello. Faiza. Hello. I am very sorry for the delay, guys. How was the preparation, by the way? How is the preparation going? Is it going well? English is very easy, you know. For all of you, English is very easy. So this is just how do you say, a session to brainstorm or revise, like a quick revision of whatever you've learned. Hello, hi guys, hi. Yeah, let's start the class. So today we'll be discussing 30 MCQs, okay? 70, somewhere around 70 literature questions and grammar questions also. Most of these are PYQs, by the way, previous year's questions. So 2025 board exam paper and 2024 board exam paper, important questions have been compiled. So we did a slide before, okay, and the feedback was not good because we had compiled only question bank questions. So this time we thought we came up with a better set of questions from PYQs, previous year's questions, and high probability questions also, okay. Am I audible? Hello? I hope I'm audible. Okay, we'll start then. Yeah, you can have your lunch, okay, slowly as you listen to the class, okay. All right. So the MCQs, guys, I need you to answer in the comment section, okay. So let's keep it interactive. First question. Juliet hangs upon the cheek of night as a... Okay, I want at least my students from the main campus who are in the comment section to answer, please. Don't embarrass me, okay? Yeah, Juliet hangs upon the cheek of night as a... Option D, very good. Option D is correct. Correct. Yeah, Bushrat Fatima, correct. Mathematician, yeah, correct. Khalid, correct. It is D, a rich jewel in an Ethiope's ear. Second question. In the poem On Children, the poet says that parents may house the bodies of their children but not their... Question 2. In the poem On Children, the poet says that parents may house the bodies of their children but not their souls is correct. Option C is correct. Deeksha Gurikar, correct. Shri R. Yamaya Pandey. Yes, Deeksha Gurikar. Manyana, correct. Yogita, correct. C is correct. Jay Bhavsar, correct. Souls. Third question. In a sunny morning, the name of the villa where the silver maiden stayed in was called. Third question, guys. Third question. 3B is correct, Pradyun. Marisela. Pradyun is a very avid listener of my classes. The last recording session also, I did see Pradyun answering to all my questions correctly. So I have a student who is very interested to listen to my classes. Thank you, Pradyun. Yeah. Okay, third question, Marisela. Moving on. Yeah, we have 27 more MCQs to go, by the way. Yeah, in the poem When You Are Old, love fled and hid his face amid dash. What is the answer? Nishant, 4 marks ge summary bardre full marks kododilla, Nishant. This I have told before also. Question yenide, question ge atara correct answer atarane baribeku. Bari summary bardre full marks sigalla. You'll have to write answers to the point, okay? Ivaga Gardner lesson in the Tammanna Basavaya rivalry ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ you have to write only about the rivalry, okay? ಅದು full summary ಬರೆಯೋದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ full marks ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, okay? Yeah, okay. So in the poem When You Are Old, love fled his face and hid among a crowd of stars. Option B is correct, Ashwini. Ashwini Shinde, correct. Fifth question. In the lesson, the gardener, the old man's eyes were suffused with. Fifth question. Old man's eyes. Native intelligence, Ritu, correct. 5D is correct. Yes, Neeraj, correct. 5D. Sixth question. In the poem Heaven, if you are not here on earth, the tender sunshine leans on. The tender sunshine leans on. A. Shreya is correct. Verdant Gardens. Yes, Sanjeevani, correct. Verdant Gardens is correct. Moving on. 7th question. Consider the two statements from the lesson Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye and answer the questions that follows. Motor cars are extremely expensive in Brazil. Reason, import duties are crippling and murderous. So, option A, both the statement and reason are false. Option B, only statement is true. Option C, only reason is true. Option D, both the statement and reason are true. 7th question. 7th, D is correct. Both the statement and reason are true. Understood. Motor cars are extremely expensive because of the import duties. So you can read the lesson again. Option D is correct. Both the statement and the reason are true. Right. 8th question. Match column A with column B with reference to lesson I believe books will never disappear and choose the correct option. Okay. So Grimm's fairy tales is tales in English version. Okay, he read the tales in the English version. Donna Leonore is Borges' mother. The Odyssey was written by Homer. So what is the correct option here? A3, B1, C2. A3, B1, C2. Option B is correct. Yeah. Option B is correct, Manya Nag. Yes. Yeah, moving on. Identify the sequence of events that led Marcus EBay to become the culture minister. I think it is option A that is correct. Right? Option A. He started off as a not too successful mission school teacher. So Marcus EBay was first a mission school teacher, then he got into politics and became a minister of culture. Right? Not too successful mission school teacher, politics came to village, wisely joined politics, got elected in elections and became culture minister. Okay. 10th question. Water knows the righteous rage of. 10th question, guys. Water knows the righteous rage of. Karam Chedu Suvartama is correct. Option C. 10C. Water knows the righteous rage of Karam Chedu Suvartama is correct, Ritu. 11th question. According to Romeo, whose beauty is too rich for use? Juliet's beauty. Option C is correct. Okay. Juliet's beauty is too rich for use. 12th question. Everyone who wants to gamble goes to dash in 2 deer. Goes to? Option A. Monaco is correct. Deeksha, yes, correct. Pradyun, 12th question A is correct. Yeah. 13th question. Tapovan, the essay mentioned in the article by Vandana Shiva is written by C. Rabindranath Tagore is correct. Written by Rabindranath Tagore. Yes, Mansi, correct. Yeah, Robin, it's 13C. 14th question. Identify the statement which is true with reference to a sunny morning. Okay, among the 4 options, what is correct? 14th question. What is true? (14B) is correct. Very good. 3 priests have occupied Gonzalo's regular bench. No, it is not A, because Gonzalo does not meet a glorious death. He lies to Donna Laura that he meets a glorious death. So it's actually a lie. Right, only option B is correct. Question bank 2 mark, 3 mark and 4 mark is enough. If you study all the answers to the question bank, Vignesh, yeah, you have solving the answers in the model exam is a lot easier because same question, almost same questions they just rephrase the questions. Understood? Same answer, but question bere tarane rephrase madodu ashte. Yes, we'll do theory also, Neeraj. Moving on. 15th question. 14 is done. 15th question. The speaker in When You Are Old loves the dash in his lady's love. Loves the? Loves her pilgrim soul is correct. Option D. 16th question. Read the following statements with reference to the story The Gardener and answer it. Statement. A few days after Tammanna left his village, Basavaya passed away. Reason. Basavaya had no more reason to live. So, what is correct? Option C is correct. Yes, Amaya and Mani. Option C is correct. Both statement and reason are true. Okay. 17th question. The pavements of dash city are decorated with beautiful black mosaics according to Mike's. 17? 17B is correct, yes. 17B. The pavements of Copacabana city are decorated with beautiful mosaics according to Mike's. This is from Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye. 18th question. Identify the false statement with reference to the voter. Which is a false statement? Roof works for Marcus eBay is correct. Roof is the most trusted of the whispering campaigners is also correct. Roof encourages the elders to vote for Marcus eBay is correct. Roof casts his vote for only Marcus eBay is wrong. Okay, he casts his vote for both Marcus eBay and Madhuka. Question 19. Yeah, question 19. Match the following with reference to where there is a wheel and choose the correct option. Okay, so S. Kannakarajan is the owner of Ram Cycles. Fatima is a secondary school teacher and Kannamal is an Arivoli central coordinator. So what is correct? A2, B3. A2, B3, C1 is correct. Option A is correct, yeah. A2, B3, C1, yeah. 20. The Mahat struggle mentioned by Challapalli Swarupa Rani took place at 20th question, guys. The Mahat struggle mentioned by Challapalli Swarupa Rani took place at correct. Chadar tank. Okay. Chadar tank is correct. 21st question. In Romeo and Juliet, the word garish is used to describe. In Romeo and Juliet, the word garish is used to describe. 21st question. Pranavi, English is very easy. You don't have to hate it. I mean, if you hate it, it becomes more difficult for you. Okay. If you like the subject, obviously English will be easy. And PU English is very easy. Let me tell you that. So, thank you, Aditya Naganur. Yeah. Yeah, you have to study according to blueprint only, Sagar Bandari, because that is exactly how questions are going to come. Mainly grammar, okay? Yeah, a reported speech, passive form of the verb. These are all short questions. So you have to study according to the blueprint only. Okay, formal letter, that is letter of application. Okay, moving on. Yeah, in Romeo and Juliet, the word garish is used to describe. Option B is correct, son. 22nd, in the story Two Deer, dash business did the kinglet of Monaco monopolize? What business? Yes, gambling is correct. Option A is correct, Ritu. Yes, Atish, Kadam, Atish. It's option A, correct. 23rd question. Choose the right sequence of incidents as they happen in the life of Vandana Shiva. Okay, so we have the two options in the next slide also. Okay, I think, yeah, this is correct. Option B is correct. Her ecological journey started in the Himalayas. She took part in Chipko movement, started Navdanya farm and Navdanya movement and then Navdanya farm. Moving on. 24th question. In a sunny morning, when Donna Laura says, your sight must be keen, she dash. 24th question. In a sunny morning, when Donna Laura says, your sight must be keen, she. Option B is correct. 60% of what paper I did not get? Hello, Arun. Hello. Yeah, no, she is not complimenting the eyesight. She is making fun of Don Gonzalo's eyesight. Option B is correct. Okay. She is making fun. Yes, correct. BHYT. Yeah, moving on. 25th, the speaker loved the dash of his beloved's changing face in When You Are Old. The speaker loved his beloved's changing face in When You Are Old. The speaker loved the dash of his beloved's changing face. Is it option D? Yeah, the speaker loved the sorrows of his beloved's changing face. is correct. Is it correct? Let us check. Yeah, love the sorrows of a changing face is correct. Moving on. 26. In The Gardener, Tamanna opines that he had no more reason to live after 26th question. In The Gardener, Tamanna opines that he had no more reason to live after option C is correct, Basavayya's death. Okay, 27th question. As explained in To the Food from Its Child, in which among the following the food does not walk along? 27th question. As explained in To the Food from Its Child, in which among the following the food does not walk along? Schools is correct. Okay, the food walks along markets, fields and mines. Does not walk along schools. Match the column A with column B with reference to Borges' observation on poetry. Okay, so options are not given. Just help me match it. So option B, poetry can't be redefined without oversimplifying it, is correct. Discovering metaphors is a poet's task. Is a poet's task. And precise words elicit emotions. So C1, B3 and A2. A2, B3, C1 is correct. Okay. A2, B3, C1 is correct, Pradyan. Yeah. 29th question. According to George Mikes, in Japan, eating soup dash is a sign of appreciation. Eating soup with fearful noise is a sign of appreciation is correct. Okay. 30. Complete. Yeah, report speech also will be completing today, Mohammed Sinan. Yeah. Complete the analogy with reference to where there is a wheel. Fatima is a secondary school teacher. Manoharmani is a... Last question, guys. Manoharmani is a... Manoharmani is a quarry laborer is correct. Yeah, quarry laborer. Name, okay, we have the 2 more questions now. Name any 2 poet friends mentioned by Don Gonzalo. Name any 2 poet friends mentioned by Don Gonzalo. Name any 2 poet friends mentioned by Don Gonzalo. Zorilla is one. Esperoncida is also another, yes. Zorilla, Becker is another, okay. Becker. Then Esperoncida. Okay. Zorilla, Becker, Esperoncida are some of the... Camphor Amor is also correct. Camphor Amor, Zorilla, yeah, they are correct. Question 2. Mention any 2 essential metaphors listed by Borges. Mention any 2 metaphors mentioned by Borges. Mention any 2 metaphors mentioned by Borges. Yeah, time and river, death and sleep. Time and river, death and sleep. What else? Women and flower, yes. Women and flower is also correct. Which village was burnt to ashes as mentioned in the poem Water and Why? Third question. Which village was burnt to ashes as mentioned in the poem Water, Why? Mallapalle is the village. And why was it burnt? Mallapalle was burnt because of a want of water. Yes, a shortage of water. Because of want of water. Yeah, we do not have 2 markers. You can, I mean, these can come as 1 markers also. Okay, we just selected the important questions from the question bank also. Some of them from PYQs and some of them from question bank also. Yeah. So yeah, want of water. Yes, is correct. Moving on. Mention any 2 images to which Romeo compares Juliet in the poem Romeo and Juliet. This is a question that regularly comes for 2 marks. Right, mention any 2 images to which Romeo compares Juliet in the poem Romeo and Juliet. Snowy dove is correct, yes. Snowy dove amid a troop of crows. Amid troop of crows is one image, and the other is snowy dove amid troop of crows. The other is rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Ethiop's ear. Yeah, these are the 2 images. Yes. Yes, correct, Shri. Not jeweled American woman, rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear is correct. Yes. Yeah, snowy dove amid troop of crows, rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. 5th question, mention any 2 expressions that Juliet uses to glorify Romeo's charm in the poem Romeo and Juliet. This is also a question that came for the preparatory exams, right? Mention any 2 expressions that Juliet uses to glorify Romeo's charm in the poem Romeo and Juliet. New snow on raven's back is correct, yes. New snow on raven's back. New snow on raven's back. Mention any 2, yeah, another, what is other, this one? Whiter than new snow on a raven's back is 1. Then? He makes the face of heaven so fine is correct, yeah. So fine that the whole world will fall in love with night. Yeah, that is correct. Mention any 2 qualities of night according to Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. Again, a 2-mark question that came. Right. So, mention any 2 qualities of night according to Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. Gentle, loving, black brood, yes. Black brood. Okay, gentle, loving, black brood is correct. Yeah, moving on. 7th question. How much pension was fixed for the criminal? How much money was received in advance? No, these are the most important questions that we have seen repeated. So yeah, 600 francs was the pension amount fixed. 600 francs, by the way. And 1/3 of it was given in advance. Okay, 1/3 was given in advance. 8th question. What did the criminal do for his living after his receiving his annuity in advance? What did the criminal do after receiving his annuity in advance? He, what did he do? He started market gardening, right? Started market gardening. More importantly, he settled in the frontier, settled across the frontier. Settled across the frontier, bought a piece of land, right? Bought a piece of land and started market gardening. Piece of land and started market gardening is correct, yes. What may parents give and may not give to children according to? Yeah, what may parents give and may not give to children according to the prophet? Parents may give their love. Yes, they may give their love and may not give their thoughts. Is correct. Yes, this is also a question that repeatedly keeps coming. Love but not thoughts. Yes. Okay, hello Yuvraj, hello. Yeah, love but not thoughts is correct. They may give their love but not their thoughts. What were the parents of Vandana Shiva? What were the parents? What were they doing? What were the parents of Vandana Shiva? Hello Mola Reddy, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, what were the parents of Vandana Shiva? Her father is a forest conservator. Yes, father was a forest conservator. And mother was a farmer. Is correct. Yes, father was a forest conservator, mother was a farmer. Is correct. 11th question. What does time teach the foot? What does, not exactly according to blueprint, Navaneet, PYQs, and also most important questions from the question bank, because question bank has 2-marker and 3-marker for all the lessons, right? So we just selected the most important 2-marker and 3-marker questions. Yeah. The questions will be coming just according to blueprint only, but these questions may come as 1-marker MCQ also, or 2 markers, which is why we're discussing these. Okay. What does time teach the foot? Time teaches the foot that it can't fly, or it can't be a fruit. Fruit is correct. Yes. Cannot be a butterfly or an apple. You can write it that. You can either write it can't fly or can't be a fruit, or you can write it can't be a butterfly or an apple as well. Either way is fine. 12th question. Where does the water sit innocently? Where does it dance to? This is a question that repeated in the preparatory also. Right? Yeah, hi Udaya Gattavi. No, Pradyun. This is a question from the water, 12th question, and it's a question that repeated also. Where does the water sit innocently? It sits innocently in a Bisleri bottle. Yes. Water sits innocently in a Bisleri bottle. Bisleri bottle. And it dances its way into a Pepsi Man's bottle is correct. Into Pepsi Man's bottle. Yeah. Innocently in a Bisleri bottle, dances its way into board paper will follow blueprint. Yes, Shreya. Yes, it will follow the blueprint only. Some of these questions may come as a 1-marker also, which is why we're discussing this. Okay, where does the water sit innocently? Where does it dance into? It dances its way into a Pepsi Man's bottle also. 13th question. Which is a mighty moment mentioned in the poem Water? Where did it happen? 13th question. Model papers, solving model papers will give you a rough idea of how the exam is going to be, okay? You have to be thorough with grammar though, because grammar is the only short questions. Okay? So, I mean, syllabus wise, if you see, I mean, and then see the blueprint, see the weightage, okay? Yeah, 13th question, which is the mighty movement mentioned in the poem Water? Where did it happen? The Mahad struggle is a mighty moment, yes. And where did it happen? Mahad struggle is correct. And where did it happen? It happened in the Chadar tank. Yes, Maharashtra, yes, but according to the poem, it's in the Chadar tank, Maharashtra. So you have to mention Mahad struggle, Chadar tank. Okay. Yes, grammar also will be explained. Mahad struggle, Chadar tank is correct. is correct, yes. March struggle at Chadar tank. See, ಈ questions 1 mark ಬರುತ್ತೆ, okay? I mean 1 mark MCQ also, which is a mighty moment mentioned in the poem, can come as a 1 marker, okay? Or where did the mighty moment happen, can come as a 1 marker. Moving on, answer any 4 of the following questions in about 60 words, okay? Will you get a live answer key? Yeah, once the exam is done, we'll discuss the answers to the questions also. Yes, we will. Yeah. What is wrong? Okay. Letter writing also. We will show you the topper's letter. Yeah, so describe briefly the complicated bowing hierarchy by the Japanese. So what do you write? Bowing is more formal, it is more oriental, right? More formal. Bowing is more formal and more oriental. It's also contagious. Contagious. And what else? Bowing also reflects levels of hierarchy. Yes. Reflects levels of hierarchy. Bowing also reflects levels of hierarchy within Japan's social system. System. Then the mother bows to the child, the mother bows to the husband. That also should be mentioned. The mother bowing to the husband. To the father. The father, or it's not mother, it's wife, right? Wife bows to the husband. Wife bows to the husband. Then children to their fathers. Children to their fathers. What else? Children to their fathers. Younger brothers to their elder brothers. Two elder brothers. Then sisters to their brothers. So this is the hierarchy in the family. This is the complicated hierarchy in the family, right? Now generally if you see, based on the ranks of the people, they bow to each other. Yeah, is it correct? Wife to husband, child to father, sister to all brothers of whatever age is correct. That is in the family, okay? Apart from that, people across all social ranks also bow to each other, okay? Like how they bow to people above them in the hierarchy, in the social rank. So those nuances also should be explained. Moving on. How does Borges define poetry? Next question. How does Borges define poetry? Yeah, poetry is the aesthetic act. Aesthetic act. Okay, then when poet writes it, and that happens when the poet writes it and reader reads it. Yeah, poet writes it and reader reads it. Yeah, it's the aesthetic act that happens when the poet writes it and the reader reads it. What else? Yeah, poetry is magical and mysterious. Magical and mysterious. Okay. Mysterious and unexplainable, although not incomplete. Yeah, poetry is magical, mysterious will do. Okay, moving on. What are Borges's views on his mother? This actually came as a 4-marker, if I'm right. He believed his mother was an extraordinary person. She had no enemies. Person having no enemies. What else? She was intelligent. Yeah, she was an intelligent and gracious woman. Intelligent and gracious woman. And gracious woman. Okay, and he also feels guilty. He feels guilty for not having been a happy man in order to give her deserved happiness. Yeah, so these are important points, okay? Yeah, he calls his mother an intelligent and a gracious woman. He feels that he should have been more understanding of her. Borges generalizes the view that it is true of all children. Yeah, it's a direct question only. Despite all her kindness, he regrets that he did not treat her the way she deserved. Is also correct. Neeraj, very good. He feels guilty for not keeping her happy. Jia Danavar, yes, correct. Yeah, moving on. Why did the authorities fail to carry out the death sentence? Why? This is actually a 4-mark question, not a 3-mark question. Why did the authorities fail to carry out the death sentence? Why did the authorities? Yeah, expensive. Why was it expensive? Buying a guillotine, okay, was expensive. Buying a guillotine was expensive. Was expensive. And why was it expensive? It's actually a 4-mark question. The Kingdom of France, how much did they charge? They charged 16,000 francs. And the Kingdom of Italy, they charged 12,000 francs. So it was very expensive because Monaco's, yeah, they didn't have an executioner. There were no soldiers to kill the criminal also is correct, yes. They did not have any soldiers to kill the criminal. And the soldiers were not trained also to conduct execution. So these are the reasons. One is this, of course, buying the guillotine was very expensive, okay? And a small kingdom like Monaco could not afford to buy a guillotine. 16,000 francs was what France charged. 12,000 francs was what Italy charged. So it was very expensive for them, okay? And moreover, the soldiers were not trained to execute or commit capital punishment. Right, Neeraj. Monaco had neither guillotine nor an executioner, so they requested the government of France. France agreed to send the requirements for the sum of 16,000 francs. They would require imposing more. Okay, and what else? Then the king also goes to the kingdom of Italy. The brother monarch of Italy. And what does Italy say? For a reduced sum, 12,000 francs, we are ready to give the guillotine. But guillotine is again expensive. 12,000 francs is still a huge amount of money. So adakoskara they postpone, or they realize that they cannot execute the capital punishment. Matte guillotine being too expensive, what did they do? They ask one of the soldiers to do it, but soldiers are not trained. Okay, so these are the reasons. Moving on. How is the one man different from many others who loved the lady in When You Are Old? The class will go on for at least another 1 more hour, Hassan. Yeah. He loved, yeah, how was that one man different from the others? He loved her for her pilgrim soul is correct. Okay. He loved her, the poet loved her for her pilgrim soul is correct. Poet loved her for her pilgrim soul. But what about the others? The others? What the other? The others. The others loved her for her glad grace. Meaning? The others loved her for her glad grace. He loved the sorrows of her changing face. Yeah, that also you can write. Sorrows of her changing face. Of her changing face. Okay. The others loved her for her glad grace or her physical beauty. One man loved lady for her pilgrim soul and not her beauty, but other men loved her for her appearance. Amaya, that is correct. His love was true, constant and undying is also correct, Lavina Martis. Okay. True, constant and undying, but in what aspect? He loved her for her character. What was inside? Okay, he loved her for her character, something that does not change over time. Okay, whereas the others loved her for her physical beauty, something that transcends or changes over time. So that is the answer. Yeah, Rizwana Begum. Others loved the lady only for her beauty and glad grace, while he loved her for her pilgrim soul and sorrows of her changing face. Yeah, Sonal D'Souza, it's correct. This is not from Sunny Morning, Nouri Arifa. This is from When You Are Old. Yeah, moving on. How did Basavaya try to surpass Tammanna in the story The Gardener? How did Basavaya try to surpass Tammanna in the story The Gardener? So what happens? Basavaya and Tammanna are engaged in a rivalry, right? They are engaged in a rivalry, and at a certain point of time, Tammanna falls ill, okay? Tammanna falls ill. So it is at that time that Basavaya realizes that he can surpass Tammanna. Tammanna falls ill, and Basavaya realizes health is wealth. That health is wealth. Basavaya realized that health is wealth. Right? No, Tammanna had 1,000 acres, all that is in the beginning, okay. But how did Tammanna try to surpass, how did Basavaya try to surpass Tammanna in the story The Gardener? When exactly did that happen? Yeah, he built mansions, he called poets and artists to its mansion, and he amassed a lot of material wealth. That is one answer, okay. Another answer is this, okay. At the exact moment, Tammanna falls ill. That is the most important answer. Tammanna fell ill, okay. At that time, Basavaya knew, okay, health is wealth. So if Tamanna falls ill, okay, that means he has lost his greatest wealth, that is health. So his illness is my health. That is what Basavaya says. Okay, his illness is my health. So that it is at that point that Basavaya realizes that he can try to surpass Tamanna in the story The Gardener. Apart from that, you can write about Basavaya building a mansion, accumulating a lot of material wealth, okay, all that being the answer. This is the most important part of the answer. Poet creates heaven on earth. Discuss with reference to heaven if you are not on earth. Poet creates heaven on earth. Surpass meaning. What is surpass? Overtaking. Ravi, surpassing means overtaking. Okay. Surpass means overtaking. Okay. How does poet create heaven on earth? The roaring waves, the tender sunshine, the verdant gardens, etc. are present already in the in nature. Okay. But how does poet create heaven on earth? Right, Neeraj, that is a very favorable answer. One need not have to look for heaven in the skies when it exists here on earth, says the poet. The poet tries to argue that concepts like heaven, God, and nymphs are created by man. Okay, so we ourselves are nymphs. You, MP Mylar, not only the summary, this is a yeah, so if you write the summary, that alone won't suffice. You have to write to the point, okay? Poet creates heaven on earth. By imbibing and spilling the song of nectar is correct. By imbibing and spilling the song of nectar. Imbibing the beauty of nature. Imbibing the beauty of nature. Imbibing the beauty of nature. Nectar of heaven. Yeah, so this is how the poet creates heaven on earth. Yeah, the poet in the nature makes the earth amidst. See, in simple words, what is the poet trying to do? So the things that we see around nature, okay, like the beautiful roaring streams, okay, the sunlight falling on verdant gardens, okay, all these are things that we notice every day, but we do not appreciate them. So what does a poet do? Poet makes us fall in love with the elements in nature, okay. Poet makes us notice those small things in nature, okay. So kavi ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇದು whatever things we see, okay, what we tend to ignore, Kavi, through his poems, he tries to glorify them, okay. So heaven, if you, yeah, this is how the poet creates heaven on earth. Yeah, how does heaven lie in nature is the question. So poet through his poem glorifies nature, okay. That is how we notice all the beauties of nature around us, okay. So that is how poet creates heaven on earth, okay, through his poems. Write a note on the role of courtesy in Japan. Write a note on the role of courtesy in Japan. So courtesy has double function, right? Courtesy has double function. Courtesy and privacy. And privacy. Courtesy has a dual function, yes. Dual function, it is courtesy and substitute privacy. Courtesy has a double function there. It is courtesy and it substitute privacy. Write a note on the role of courtesy. Yeah, courtesy has a double function. And why does it have a double function? Because Japan is a very crowded place, okay, a very crowded city. So people do not have enough space for their privacy. So people usually, they are standing side by side as one person is talking on the phone. So there is no option but to respect the other person's privacy. So even if they are standing nearby, they will not eavesdrop or listen to what you are saying on the phone. So that is courtesy. So this is how courtesy has a double function. Yeah, sure, I'll slow it down. They respect people talking on the phone. If there is another person talking on the phone, okay, here or outside of Japan, what do people tend to do? They try to listen, right? They try to eavesdrop into what the other person is saying. But in Japan, what do? Even if the other person is talking on the phone, they will make sure that they don't listen, okay? So that is courtesy, being polite. So that is how courtesy has a double function, okay? It is courtesy and it substitute privacy. So by being courteous, they are also making sure that you have privacy, okay? Courtesy andre, what do you say in simple words? Courtesy andre respecting the other person, okay? Being courteous, see, being polite, okay? Being polite to the other person, that is courtesy. Yeah, most confidential business transactions, animated love quarrels in public. Yeah, it is all conducted in a courteous manner, is correct. Yeah, moving on. Write a note on the behavior of Nara's deer. One example at least, if you explain, it will be good, Amaya. Understood. So what is the role of courtesy? Courtesy has, if it's a 3-mark or 4-mark question, you have to explain with an example also. Okay. Yeah, if you can explain with an example, it's better. Yeah, write a note on the behavior of Nara's deer. Yeah, so Nara's deer, just like Japanese people, okay? Nara's deer, what does it do? It bows to people, bows to visitors. It bows to visitors. And then, what does it do? It bows to the author also. It bows to the author also. And what else? Yeah, Madhavan, in 4 months' time. Yeah, so what is the speciality of the behavior of Nara's deer? Now, in other parts of the world, the deer, it grazes, it walks around. But in Japan, okay, then mainly in Nara, the deer bows down, just like Japanese people, okay? And why does it do that? Because it has seen the Japanese people do it, and it has learned from the Japanese people how to bow. So that it is mimicking what the Japanese people are doing. So it bows to the author. And what does it do? It snatches the food also, yes. So it snatches the food away from the author. Soon after it bows down. Food packet. Food from the author. So on one side, the deer is showing traits of Japanese people by bowing down and respecting or greeting visitors, but at the same time it is showing the animal instincts also by snatching the food and running away. Okay. No, it is not in the blood of the Japanese deer. It is mimicking. See, when you have a pet at home, what do you see? The pet will imitate some of your actions, right? Because it sees you every day. So in the same way, the deer in Nara also imitates the Japanese people. It sees the Japanese people bow down every day. So it sees and it mimics the actions of the Japanese people. So in the same way, the Nara's deer also bows to visitors. Okay, it bows to the author also, and it snatches the food away from him. It came to the author and looked deep into the author's eye. He bowed deeply, a little properly and courteous, and then he snatches the food packet and he runs away. Yeah. Yeah, right. From him and makes, yeah. So these are two most important points. Okay, it bows to visitors. Okay, it bows to the author also. And once it's done, it looks deep into the author's eye and it snatches its food away and runs. No, you should not write points for question answers. No, especially 3 marker and 4 marker, don't write points. Okay, in social studies in 10th standard you are asked to write in points, but for English, no, you should write in paragraphs. Okay, do not write in points. 2 markers you can write in points. Yes, in 2 sentences, 2 points or 2 words enough. But for 3 marker and 4 marker, always write in paragraph. Okay, it's an English exam. In social studies you can write maybe in points, but English always write it in paragraph. Okay. It's better to write it section wise. However, I don't think they'll cut marks if you start from one particular section. It is your ease of starting. You can write section wise also, is what I feel. Yeah. If you skip Vandana Shiva's chapter, see the weightage, Sonal D'Souza. Okay. See the weightage. It's a 5-mark chapter, right? You can actually, yeah. We will discuss that also, yes. Yeah, moving on. Describe the behavior of the drivers in Brazil. Describe the behavior of the drivers in Brazil. There is a famous analogy, right? What is the famous analogy? Driver, hunter, pedestrian, prey. Driver, hunter, and pedestrian, prey. And why does the author say that? Yeah, driver, hunter, pedestrian, prey, hunter and prey. Why is that? Because when they see a pedestrian, a person walking in the footpath, okay, what do the drivers do? If the moment the person steps onto the road, he drives fast, okay, he rushes fast so as to hit the pedestrian. Basically, writer is sarcastically trying to say that drivers in Brazil are rash, okay, they're rash and they don't follow rules, okay. They're rash and it's better to write they're rash and carefree. Rash and carefree, yeah. Rash, carefree. Yeah, what else? Yeah, Neeraj, correct. The war between the drivers is murderous but good-tempered, okay. They cut in, overtake on both sides, force the other person to brake violently and commit all the most heinous crimes, is correct, okay. The war between the drivers is murderous but good-tempered, is correct. murderous and good-tempered. Yeah. They cut in, overtake on both sides and force the other person to break violently and commit all the most heinous crimes. Yeah. 4 markers, how many lines should you write? At least 3/4 of a page you should write. Okay. 3/4 of a page at least should be written. Again, it depends on your handwriting also. If you have like a very big handwriting, it will cover a page. They cut in, overtake on both sides, force you to break violently and commit all the most heinous crimes is correct. Yeah, which question is difficult, Sonal? These are 4 markers, right? No, these are 3 markers. Question number inside margin, we can write, yeah, it's no issues. Yeah, they smile amicably to each other. I won today, you will win tomorrow. That is also there, yes. Yes. Yeah. Next. 4 markers. Answer any 3 of the following questions about 100 words each. What were the imaginary stories narrated by Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura about their past in the play A Sunny Morning? This is a question that regularly repeated. Either they'll ask like this or they will rephrase that into a different question. Okay. What were the imaginary stories narrated by Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura is an important question, by the way. Okay. So, we solved the model papers, Kushal Raj. We solved the model papers once. You can just check the previous video. I think we did. Yeah. So what does Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo say? Don Gonzalo says that yeah, the gallant horseman was his cousin. Right. The gallant horseman was his cousin. And what does Donna Laura say? She says the silver maiden was her friend. Was her friend. What else is being said? Don Gonzalo lies. Okay. Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura, 2 people, they lie. Okay. What does Don Gonzalo say? The gallant horseman. Okay. That person was my cousin. That's what he says. Okay. When in reality, Don Gonzalo himself is the gallant horseman. And what does he tell Donna Laura? He tells Donna Laura that, what does Donna Laura say? The silver maiden is her friend. Okay. When in reality, Donna Laura herself is the silver maiden. And they spin stories also. What does Don Gonzalo say? He moves to... Yeah, what is the story? Gallant young man who used to visit his beloved silver maiden. Okay, what else? There is something more. Don Gonzalo fakes himself as the gallant young man or gallant horseman, but he also spins stories. What is the story he spins? It's a 4-mark question. So you have to talk about the story, the fake story that he spins. What does he say? Yeah, he left for Seville is correct. He left for Seville and joined the army. Left for Seville, joined the army and died in the war. Right. Yeah, he left for Seville, joined the army and died in war. This is the story that Don Gonzalo tells about himself. Okay, when in reality he's lying. Okay, he says that his cousin is the one who died like this, when in reality it is Don Gonzalez talking about himself, and he's lying. Okay, what does Donna Laura say? What does Donna Laura say? The silver maiden. What does Donna Laura say? Now Don Gonzalo we discuss. What does Donna Laura say about the silver maiden? He dies catching the flag of Spain. Yeah, he dies in war holding the flag of Spain and whispering his lover's name. Yeah, he catches hold of the flag as he dies and he whispers his lover's name. So that is how he dies. Yeah. No, what does, yeah, right. One evening the silver maiden goes to a beach where the duel took place. She sat there writing the gallant lover's name. A wave came up and swept her into the sea. Okay, so that is what happens. She goes to the beach. She goes to the beach. And writes her lover's name. Lover's name. Okay, on the shore. And then the waves wash her. She's swept, she's swept away by the waves, is correct. Swept away by the waves is correct. Yeah. So she goes to the beach, writes her lover's name on the shore, and she's swept by the waves. Is it correct? Yeah, she left the house with quickening steps and went towards the beach where her beloved had risked his life. She goes to the beach and writes her lover's name on the sand, and then what happens? The waves, okay, wash her, or the waves, she's swept by the tides. Laura waited for days and months, and not hearing from him for long, she left her home one afternoon and went to the beach. While she was engrossed in this thought, she was washed away by the waves. She was not just engrossed by the thoughts. What did she do? She writes her lover's name, okay, on the seashore, on the sands, okay, and she writes the name, and as she's sitting on a rock, okay, as she's seated on a rock, the tides, okay, swept her away. So that is how she spins a false story. So this is how they lie to each other. It's a very important question, by the way, okay. How do Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo hide their identities from each other in the play Sunny Morning? Again, same question only, okay. These two are same questions, okay. This question and this question are same. This is what I said, okay. They will rephrase the question. It will have the same answer. Whatever answer we discussed previously is the same answer for this question also, okay. So some of the questions we discussed now, right, they will rephrase it, okay, in a different way, and that's how the answer will come. So same answer. Yeah, same answer. Reported speech we'll learn now. Reported speech we'll learn. Yeah, so same thing, same answer, okay. Same answer as this one. Same answer as this one, we'll write there also. Moving on. What are the economic implications of cycling in the lives of rural women of Pudukkottai as documented in Where There Is a Wheel? What are the economic implications of cycling on the lives of rural women of Pudukkottai as documented in Where There Is a Wheel? What are the economic implications of cycling in the lives of rural women of Pudukkottai as documented in Where There Is a Wheel? Yeah, correct. They don't have to wait for buses is one thing. They don't have to wait for buses. Okay, so it saves time. Saves time for them. Why? They don't have to wait for buses. Okay, they don't have to wait for buses, and they don't have to depend on men. They don't have to depend on men. Okay, what else? Yeah, they could cover larger area to sell their produce. Very good. They could cover larger area to sell their produce. Cover larger area to sell their produce. Area to sell their produce. Produce. They could cover larger area to sell their produce is correct. Freedom, self-respect is all correct only, but that is not the answer to this question. The question is asking about economic implications, understood? So you are supposed to tell how economically the women were benefited, understood? They could carry their goods better, okay, it saved a lot of time. They could cover large area to sell their produce. They did not have to wait for buses, or they did not have to depend on men. So this saved time. You should talk about economic implications. Respect and freedom is not an answer to this question, okay? They got more leisure time is correct, yes. They got more leisure time. More leisure time. More leisure time is correct. They got more leisure time. What else? They could carry their children and also provisions on their bicycles is correct. Yes, Hassan. They could carry their children and also their produce on their bicycles. It has also helped them to give more time. It helped them to focus or give more time to sell their produce. They could bring water from many distance, okay? And if you see the, in the women working in the quarries also, they could carry the quarry material, that raw materials, rocks, etc. through cycle. They did not have to mention. It has also helped them to give more time to focus on selling their produce, yeah. So it is mainly talking about economic implications, understood? So these answers should first be covered, okay? Economic implications, these freedom, self-respect and all, they did get, yes. But economic implications, how did it help them economically, okay? That is what you should write first. In less time, they could sell agriculture produces. Most of these are very general answers, okay? So it's an easy chapter, very generic answers only. Yeah. Advantages over poorly connected routes also, yes. Literacy and mobility, yeah, that is also fine. You can write that. Yeah, they could carry their children and their produce and could carry water from a very far distance and also help them to focus to sell their goods. Correct, Rizwana Begum. Yeah, so focus on economic implications when you're writing, okay? Yeah, moving on. How does the poet trace the transient nature of love from youth through old age in When You Are Old? This question, guys. How does the poet trace the transient nature of love from youth through old age in When You Are Old? True love and for how does the poet trace the transient nature of love from youth through the old age in When You Are Old? Transient nature means something that stays as time passes, right? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, correct. So as the woman grows older, okay, as the woman grows older, as the woman grows older, okay, people will stop admiring her physical beauty. Stop admiring her physical beauty. Okay. Yeah. Sonal D'Souza, yes, poet tells that he had true love to his beloved, whereas others only loved her beauty. He tells that his beloved will regret the cost of rejecting. That is the summary of the poem. Okay, how does a poet trace the transient nature of love from youth? Transient is as in it changes. So many people loved her. She had so many fans. So many people used to admire her, right? Admire the lover. But why did they love her? They loved her for her moments of glad grace, for her outer beauty. Okay, but as she grows older, what will happen? As she grows older, these same admirers, these same people who are behind her, okay, who were admiring her, they will stop admiring her because she loses that physical beauty, that physical charm, okay, because she grows older. Pilgrim Soul and Sorrows of Changing Face is correct. Yeah, she had many suitors who admired her for her physical beauty. But as she grows older, what will happen? They will all stop admiring her. They will leave her. Okay. So there is only one person who will stay. Okay. Even when she grows older, there will only be one person who still truly loved her, and that is the poet himself. Okay. Why? Because he loved her for her pilgrim soul. And that is one part of you that will not change even if you age. Okay. Yeah, woman grows older, they lose their beauty as in the youth. Now she had become old and her hair becomes grey and there is sorrows on her face. So once she was so beautiful, now she is not. It's correct. Okay, so many people admired her, now they are not admiring her. He alone loved her unconditionally is also correct, yes. Poet loved her unconditionally. Poet loved her for her inner beauty, her pilgrim soul. Yeah, correct, Hassan. The poet, Hassan Said, correct. Yeah, the poet loved her for who she was, and the love stayed even after the transitory phase and appearance, while others loved her with true love and love false. The poet is okay, that is not with love true and love false. Yeah. Moving on. Fifth question, explain the reasons for the refusal of the criminal to leave the prison in 2 is a very important question. Explain the reason for the refusal of the criminal to leave the prison. There are 3 main points if I'm right. Yeah. What are the points? The next question, guys. Fifth question, explain the reason for the refusal of the criminal to leave the prison in 2 So as you all know, okay, it's a certain point the prisoner refuses to live, right? So why does he refuse to live? He had gotten out of the way of work. Yes, that is one factor. He had gotten out of the way of work. Okay, that is one thing. And everything was provided to him, right? And yeah, no one would accept him. The society will not accept him. Why? Because he is a murderer. Turn their backs. Society will turn their backs, as in his reputation is damaged. His reputation is damaged, so society will turn their backs on him. His reputation is damaged, then He had nowhere to go is also an answer, yes. He's accustomed, Dhanyashri Pujari, correct. He's accustomed by shelter and food and nowhere to go. He feared starvation, homelessness is also a very good answer, yes. Okay, he's accustomed to the life. So he had gotten out of the way of living. He's used to his present lifestyle. So our prisoner here was getting free food and shelter, okay. He was getting palace food straight away from the palace kitchen and he was getting shelter also. So why would he leave, right? If he left and went, he had to work again and earn a living. So he had gotten out of the way of living, okay, way of work. No, that is not the answer. Creeping criminal was expensive for them is correct, but that is not the answer to this question. Okay, explain the reasons for the refusal of the criminal to leave the prison. He had gotten out of the way of work. Society will turn their backs, that is, reputation is damaged, and is used to the present lifestyle. He had nowhere to go. People would turn their backs at him, and he did not complain about the guard. He did not complain when the king and the council was changing the decision every time. Okay, he did not complain. But now they are suddenly asking him to leave, which he cannot. Why? Because he had gotten out of the way of work. Then he is very comfortable. He is leading a very comfortable life in the prison. Third, his reputation is damaged. So if he tries to integrate with society, the society will call him a murderer. Okay, so his reputation is damaged. No, you can write either of the two, Fuzal. You can write either letter or speech writing. It's an option question, okay? 5 mark or question it is. You can write either the job application letter or you can write the speech, okay? Moving on. Trace the journey of Marcus eBay from a missionary school teacher to a successful politician. Trace the journey of Marcus eBay from a missionary school teacher to a successful politician is a question that came in the year 2024 and 25 in both the board exams. Okay, 2024 board exam also, 2025 board exam also, this question had come. It's a 4 marker. Trace the journey of Marcus eBay from a missionary school teacher to a successful politician. Yes, it is. Questions will be based on blueprint only. No, you cannot write it in points. You have to write it in paragraph only. I am writing in points, so you can elaborate on it. Okay. Yeah, correct. Hassan Said. Marcus eBay was a teacher but wisely joined politics. Okay, although he was about to be dismissed after the female teacher's allegations is correct. Yeah, not too successful mission school teacher is correct. Full mission school teacher. Not too successful mission school teacher. And what else? Yeah, he was dismissed. Yeah, dismissal, almost dismissed, yeah. Due to complaint from due to a complaint from a female colleague, right? A female colleague, female teacher. Yeah, not too successful mission school teacher is very important, okay? Dismissed due to a complaint from a female teacher, okay? Allegations, yeah, about to be dismissed is correct. About to be dismissed. About to be dismissed due to a complaint from a female teacher. He wisely joined politics is correct. He wisely joined politics is correct. Today he was Chief the Honorable. He had 2 long cars. Today he was Chief the Honorable. The Honorable had 2 long cars, right? Then he built a big mansion also, right? He built a big mansion and he named the mansion after his constituency, Umuofia. Right. Yeah, he also made a lot of fortune, right? He made a lot of fortune, that is, he made a lot of money, and from that he had 2 long cars and built Umuofia mansion. He knew the source of his good fortune also. So he was always thankful to his people, the people of Umuofia. Yeah. Nothing like you lose marks. You can write the answers in your own way, distortion, 3100. But when you write the words exactly and when you underline them, no, the evaluator has a good impression, okay, on your answers. The evaluator has a very good impression on your answers. The chance of you getting full marks for your answers are very high if you use the exact words like not too successful mission school teacher or wisely joined politics. Okay, these kind of exact words if you use, no, it's easier for the evaluator to give you marks. I mean, I'm not saying you should do it. You can write it in your own words also. Okay, just that it puts you in a, how do you say, a better position to get full marks. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Sinchana Varnekar, the answer is short only. They are asking for a very short answer only. Right. About his poetry, about the poetry, I mean, when you write it, it will obviously be big enough. That whole conversation that Borges says, his thoughts about poetry. When you write it on paper, it will be enough for a 4-marker. You needn't write both questions. You can write both. Okay, well, obviously only one will be evaluated. You can write both, but not needed. Yeah, he got a huge mansion built in Umuofia, named it Umuofia Mansions. And what else? He arranged a big feast. Okay, in that big feast, he called a lot of people, his villagers, and he treated them or feasted them. Right. So the people were very thankful. But they're asking his journey from Marcus Ebe. And here, yeah, another very important point, I'm sorry I missed it. He was Minister of Culture also. Minister of Culture. Minister of Culture in the government. Very important point. Yeah. So these are the important points, right? He was a not too successful mission school teacher. He was about to be dismissed due to a complaint from a female teacher. Okay, about to be dismissed because of due to a complaint from a female teacher. And politics came to his village. Okay, politics came to his village, and he understood that there's a lot of scope in politics, and he wisely joins politics. And then what happens? He becomes the winning candidate, and in the party that comes to power, okay, he joins PAP. He becomes the winning candidate, and he becomes a minister of culture. Okay, he becomes a member of the parliament, and then he becomes a minister of culture. After he becomes a minister of culture, he makes a lot of money, following which he becomes the chief, the honorable, the chief, and he makes a lot of money. Yeah, he has 2 long cars. So this point is also very important, that he became a minister of culture. Okay, so that is showing the transition, the journey of Marcus eBay as a mission school teacher, from a mission school teacher to a successful politician. As a teacher, he was not very successful, but as a politician, at least for himself, he was very successful. Why? Because he made a lot of money. Yeah, this question is as per blueprint only. This is a 4-marker question that came in 2024 and 2025 board exam paper. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Seventh question. Describe the circumstances that led Tamanna to become a non-entity in The Gardener. Okay, describe the circumstances that led to Tamanna to become a non-entity. So, you should talk about Tamanna and Basavayya's rivalry. Tamanna and Basavayya's rivalry. Yeah, that is distortion. After Basavayya's death, he forgot his songs and became a non-entity is the answer, yes. But if you write only that one sentence, will you get marks? No, it's a 4-mark question. So what should you write? You should talk about the rivalry, okay? Tamanna and Basavayya were, first they were friendly rivals. They were competing to accumulate land and friends, okay? Then later what happens? Basavayya encroaches on Tamanna's land. He encroaches on Tamanna's land. And what does Tamanna do? Everybody asks Tamanna to either fight and get the land back, or go to court, or go to the police to complain. But Tamanna is more creative. What does he do? He tries to he tries to react or respond in a different manner by composing ballads. So through these ballads, Basavayya's reputation, okay, through these ballads, Basavayya's reputation is destroyed. Through these ballads, Basavayya's reputation is damaged. And what happens? Yeah, he tries to take, Joy boy, hi joy boy. Ballad is a song only, Sonal D'Souza. Ballad is basically folk song. Songs they sing in the villages, okay? Like now we have television, we have social media, okay? But in villages some 70, 80 years back, there was no means of entertainment. There was no mass communication. So they used to entertain each other through ballads or these skits, plays, etc. So ballad is basically a folk song. Okay, in this folk song they will describe or they will talk about a story. Okay, so now the ballads that Tamanna composed, most of the time Basavayya, his rival, would be the rival. Okay, I mean his rival would be the main character, portrayed as a villain. Okay, and every time when Basavayya was portrayed as a villain, what happened? Basavayya's reputation was damaged. Now in the classroom, how do you, the way you spread rumors, gossips, right? You start a rumor and the rumor immediately spreads. So in the same way, the ballads that Tamanna composed became a big hit. Okay, they spread around from village to village. So now everybody associated Basavayya as that villain in Tamanna's story. So Basavayya's reputation was damaged. So Basavayya tried to accumulate a lot of wealth, tried to satisfy himself, okay. But Tamanna thought one final way of damaging Basavayya. That was to leave the village, okay, to lie to the world or to lie to the village that he died. shrink in fame. Yes, many scholars of folklore and literary critics translated his songs and earned their share. Yeah, Netflix shorts, correct. He tries, but he's also not successful. Basavaya also tries, but he's not successful. Okay. And what eventually happens? What eventually happens? Basavaya is waiting for an opportunity to surpass Tammanna. Okay, waiting for an opportunity to surpass Tammanna, and Tammanna falls ill. Okay, Tammanna falls ill. Tammanna falls sick or falls ill. Okay, and when Tammanna falls ill, Basavaya is very happy. Okay, why is Basavaya happy? Because my rival is not feeling well. Okay, his illness is my health. Health is wealth. This is what Basavaya says. Health is wealth. Okay, and that greatest wealth being health, this man cannot maintain it. So I am more healthier than him. So I am happier. So Tammanna being sick kind of satiates Basavaya's happiness. Okay, he becomes more happier. Okay, but as he is waiting for Tammanna to become more and more ill, Basavaya falls ill and dies. Okay, Basavaya falls ill and dies. Okay, and this is the most important part of the answer. And because Basavaya falls ill and dies, Tammanna forgets his ballads. Why does Tammanna forget his ballads? Because the motivation to write all his ballads was his rival Basavaya. Okay, so Basavaya being his motivation, when Basavaya died, okay, Tammanna forgot his ballads. There is no motivation in life, right? Now you have a motivation, something motivates you. In class also you may have a rival who studies well or is very good in sports. Okay, so if that rival who's studying well maybe switches to another class or leaves the school or stops studying, suddenly you also lose motivation. Okay, some people are like that. They are motivated by rivalry. So in this case also, Tammanna is a very good poet. He writes very good ballads, but his motivation in life is to compete with Basavaya. So when Basavaya died, Tammanna had no motivation. Okay, so when Basavaya died, Tammanna had no motivation. Tammanna lost motivation. Okay, because of Basavaya's death, and that is how he forgets his ballads. Okay, he forgets his ballads and he becomes a non-entity. What is a non-entity? A nobody. Okay, non-entity is basically a nobody. Somebody who is nothing in life, a non-entity. Okay, nobody takes him seriously. So when Basavaya was alive, Tammanna was famous, a famous poet. But when Basavaya died, Tammanna forgot his ballads. So there is nothing that is keeping him famous, nothing that is keeping him relevant. So he becomes a nobody. Okay. At the end of the story, Basavaya passed away. At that time, his rival Tammanna felt that he had no more reasons to live, and finally he left the village forever and felt that he had become non-existent, a non-entity. Yes, correct. Yeah, moving on. Yeah, 8th question. Describe the meeting held by PUC campaign team with roof in the water. Describe the meeting held by PUC campaign team with a roof in the water. Describe the meeting held by PUC campaign team with roof in the water. What happens? Guys, come on, speed up. Yeah, PUC campaign's leader was friends with roof, is correct. Okay, although the friendship was soggy and always a business thing. Okay, fine. Yeah, PUC campaign leader. Okay. PUC campaign leader visits roof. Right. Visits roof one night. Yeah, and what happens after that? Yeah, at night the POP campaign team along with the campaign leader visited roof. Okay. Any words? Without any words, they put 5 pounds. Okay, they put 5 pounds on the table. On the table. Okay. And did they ask Roof to do the campaigning for Madhuka? No. 5 pounds was given only so that he can cast his vote. Okay, 5 pounds on the table only to cast his vote. His vote. Okay, 5 pounds for only to cast his vote. Okay, now as we all know, Rufus Okeke is an election campaigner. So 5 pounds is a very big sum. Okay, because he only is getting shillings to give to the other people. But here they came and gave him 5 pounds only to vote for Madhuka. Okay. Yeah, they made him swear on the E. E is a DT. Okay. DT or an idol. Okay. From Mbanta. And they made him swear on it. Yeah, they bought an E from Mbanta. It's a deity or an idol, kind of like a statue. Okay, it's a very sacred doll or a statue, and they made Roof swear on it. Okay. Yeah, Roof accepted the 5 pounds, and the Pope campaign leader brought out the E and made Roof swear by that he will cast his vote for Madhuka. Yeah, vote for Madhuka. So this is important. Okay, POP campaigner visits Roof at night. Okay, gives him 5 pounds. Okay, and then third, asks him to cast his vote. Fourth, makes him swear on E. So these are the 4 important points. Moving on. Why was the death sentence converted into life imprisonment? We discussed this as a 2-marker question also, I think, 2 or 3-marker question. Why was the death sentence converted into life imprisonment? It was a costly affair. Yes, it was a costly affair. It was a very costly affair because France charged 16,000. France charged 16,000 and Italy charged 12,000 francs. Italy charged 12,000 francs. Okay, and Monaco was a small state. Monaco was a small state with a population of 7,000 something inhabitants. So they had to charge at least 2 francs per person. So which was very expensive. And moreover, what is the second reason? Second reason. So guillotine is the first reason, right? Guillotine is the first reason. They wanted to buy a guillotine, okay, for capital punishment. But guillotine was very expensive, okay. Second reason was nobody in the army, okay. Nobody in the army knew how to conduct capital punishment. Yeah. So there was no expert in the army. Yeah, you can say nobody in the army. There was no expert who could conduct this one, hanging, and moreover, there was buying a guillotine was a very costly affair. Okay, costly machine. Soldiers refused conducting because they are not experienced. Okay. Yeah, and at the end, the king realizes that committing a capital punishment or executing a capital punishment is a very costly affair. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they did not have a guillotine or an execution. That is one sentence. Okay, you have to elaborate on that. Moving on. Write a note on Navdanya movement and Navdanya farm. Write a note on Navdanya movement and Navdanya farm. Navdanya movement. What do we write about Navdanya movement? It's a biodiversity movement, right? A movement aimed at biodiversity started in 1987, right? Biodiversity conservation and farming, yeah. Biodiversity conservation and farming started in 1987. Is correct. Was started in the year, that is Navdanya farm. Okay, Navdanya movement. You should talk about Navdanya movement first. Navdanya movement was a biodiversity conservation and organic farming movement. Okay. The movement that started for biodiversity conservation and organic farming started in 1987. Then you should talk about Navdanya farm. Started in Doon Valley in 1994. Sorry, 1994 or 1997? 1994 is correct, yeah. 1994 in Doon Valley. Okay, again biodiversity intense farming. Yeah, growing 630 varieties of rice, 150 varieties of wheat. Rice, 150 varieties of wheat. Yeah, what else? Is it 2000 or is it 630? 630 varieties of rice. Navdanya movement saved more than 3000 rice varieties, okay? Yeah. And yeah, two most important courses were also introduced. Yeah, two important courses were introduced. 10 courses were introduced. Which are the two most important courses? A to Z of organic farming and Gandhi and globalization. Yeah, so two courses were introduced, A to Z of organic farming and Gandhi and globalization. All right, so these are your answers, okay? Sorry. Moving on. Describe how Don Gonzalo glorifies his cousin's death. We discussed the same in the previous question also. Describe how Don Gonzalo glorifies his cousin's death. How does he glorify his cousin's death? How does Don Gonzalo glorify his cousin's death? He moved to Seville, right? He moved to Seville and he joined the war, right? Joined the war. Then he went to Africa. And he died in the war died in the war holding the Spanish flag. Holding the Spanish flag. Flag and whispering his lover's name. His lover's name. Correct. Joined the war in Africa and his cousin and died in a war holding the flag of Spain and whispering the name of his beloved. Yes. Okay. And this why does he move to Sevilla? Because he gravely injures the merchant. Okay. So fearing the consequences, he goes to Sevilla and he joins the war. This is the story he tells. Joined the army in Africa and died in the war holding the Spanish flag and whispering the name of his lovers. Okay. Correct. Moving on. 12th question, it's a very subjective question. Do you agree that the play A Sunny Morning deals with the human weakness for lying? Yes or no? It's up to you. You can write yes or no. Okay, just justify the answer. Does it deal with the human weakness for lying? Yes. Why yes? Why yes? Because both Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura lie to each other. Okay, they lie to each other and they give fake, they spin fake or false stories of the other, okay, of their long lost lover. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Because they feel that the other person will not accept them as they are. Okay, that is why they spin false stories. So it does deal with human weakness for lying. Okay, so you can say yes, you can say no also. Okay, it's up to you. The rivalry between Tammanna and Basavaya keeps moving from the visible domain to the invisible. Comment. 13th question. Yeah, Hassan, I agree. I wouldn't either, but we have to discuss these questions. So, yeah, that is also a correct answer. They lied to each other only because they wanted to protect their beautiful memories of the past. Okay, so but does it deal with human tendencies for lying? Yes or no, it's up to you. They were romanticizing their past, so that is one of the reasons why they lied. Yeah, the rivalry between Tammanna and Basavaya keeps moving. Yeah, we did a similar question. Yes, Tammanna and Basavaya keeps moving from the visible domain to the invisible. Why is that? Because the moment Tammanna starts composing ballads. The moment Tammanna starts composing ballads, okay, the rivalry moves from visible to the invisible domain. Visible to the invisible domain. And why does it move to the invisible domain? Because now Basavaya's reputation is damaged. Okay. Reputation is damaged. Basavaya's reputation is damaged, and it is something invisible. Reputation is not something that you can see or feel. Okay, so it moves from visible to invisible. Earlier they were fighting to accumulate material wealth, but now they are fighting to destroy each other's. I mean, it becomes invisible because they are fighting for something that you cannot see or feel. So in that way, Tammanna is destroying Basavaya's reputation. Moving on. 14th question. To the food from its child represents the conflict between illusion and real life. Elaborate. So you can write it generally also. To the food from its child represents the conflict between illusion and real life. So the young foot, the child's foot or the infant's foot, what does it dream to be? The child's foot dreams to be a butterfly or an apple. Or an apple. The child's foot dreams to be a butterfly or an apple. Yeah, but as the foot is exposed to the real life, outer world, okay, as it is exposed to the outer world, it realizes, as the foot is exposed to the outer world, it realizes that the outer world is harsh, okay, and the feet become calloused, become rough or calloused. Okay, so conflict between illusion and real life is just like that. Okay, we have illusions, we dream, our dreams know no limits, right? But when we are exposed to the harsh realities of life, that is when we realize that achieving these dreams, okay, are like climbing up a mountain, okay, against a boulder. Okay, so it's very difficult, it's impossible, okay, for us. So our dreams know no limits, but the real life, the harsh realities of life have different plans for us. So young child, okay, or the child's foot dreams of being a butterfly or an apple, but the outer world, okay, or the outer world exposes the child's feet to harsh realities or rough surfaces. So the child's foot is condemned to live in a shoe. Condemned to a shoe. Child's foot is condemned to a shoe. Okay, so it's defeated. The child's foot is defeated. In real life also it is like that only. We are also defeated. Okay, and we are condemned to live under others' expectations, in society's expectations. Moving on. Yeah, we'll begin grammar soon, guys. So yeah, hang in there. 15th question. Roof is an intelligent manipulator. I hope you guys had your lunch because I didn't. So we'll anyways finish it. Yeah. Yeah, then the feet walks like eyeless reptiles. Yeah, you guys can have your lunch as you listen to the class. The paper will be strictly according to the blueprint only. I did not follow the blueprint. I selected the most important questions from, some are PYQs, some are question bank questions. Okay, question bank also they don't follow blueprint. Questions, you get 2 marker, 3 marker for all chapters. Okay, I included all that because I can explain the essence of the lesson. That is why I included that. Yeah, we can have a short break once we finish the 15th question. Okay, then we'll go with grammar. So you guys will be having fresh minds to approach grammar, right? Yeah, we'll give you a 10-minute break. So I'll also have a 10-minute break. Hello, Drago. Yeah, Roof is an intelligent manipulator. Justify with reference to the story. Do you think Roof is an intelligent manipulator? Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do think Roof is an intelligent manipulator. Why? Yeah, he made elders vote. He made the elders vote. He made the elders vote for Marcus. Okay. So all the elders were adamant. They were like, we will not vote this time. Okay. We are more than just happy to vote, but you have to give us something. They had very high demands. Okay. Very high demands. But what did Roof do? By giving mere shillings. Okay. Shillings, it's like a very small currency. Mere shillings were given to them. Okay. Mere shillings were given to the elders and he asked them to vote for them. Yeah, and Roof manipulated the elders and made them to vote for Marcus. Yeah, 4 shillings is the exact amount. That is also an answer, Hassan Said. He voted for both of them. But most importantly, how did he manipulate the people around him? Okay. How did he manipulate the elders? On one side, he manipulated the elders. And on the other side, he manipulated Marcus eBay also. Okay. When he went to Marcus eBay's house, okay, what does he say? I will campaign for you, but you have to give me something. So what does he take in return? Yeah, at first he starts by giving only 2 shillings, then they negotiate, but he makes sure that for a very small sum the deal is struck. Okay, that is one. Then he negotiates or he manipulates Marcus eBay also to give him good gifts, right? So that is also there. A wine bottle and rich robes, yes, rich robe and a wine bottle. So all this were given to Roof. So he manipulated Marcus eBay on one side, he manipulates the elders also. How does he do that? Okay, that is your answer. Okay, we'll take a small break then, a 5-minute break, following which I'll come back. You guys have your lunch if you haven't, okay? We'll meet after that. Yeah, a small break, guys. Yeah, hello guys. Yeah, so we'll continue with the grammar part, okay? Yeah, we'll continue with the grammar part. So I hope you're done with the quick break. So we'll continue with the grammar part. Yeah, so all these grammar questions are PYQs, by the way. 2024 and 2025 board exam questions, okay? So these are the ones and we'll be discussing that, okay? Yeah. Monaco was called a toy kingdom. A murder, so it was called, so in the past a murder was committed is correct. Was committed. So we learned this before also, right? The passive form of the verb. How should we write it? The be form of the verb plus V3. So this is how we're supposed to write it. The be form of the verb plus V3. Okay. Be form of the verb plus V3. So always there will be two verbs, one helping verb and one main verb. So Monaco was called a toy kingdom. A murder was committed in that kingdom. The criminal was sentenced is correct. The criminal was sentenced to death by the judges, but the kingdom had no resources to execute the criminal, so the criminal was asked is correct. Criminal was asked. Okay. Was committed, was sentenced, was asked is correct. Yeah. No, if you study well, exams are going to be very easy, Purvi, especially, state exams, state board exams, English tend to be very easy for CBSE and ICSE students. Portions are a lot watered down, it's a lot easy, okay. Was asked is correct, yeah. Second question, guys. The traffic in the big cities is increasing by, second question. Second question, guys. Increasing by leaps and bounds is correct, Mansi. Leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Day by day. It has become difficult for the commuters to it has become difficult for the commuters to no, not look up to keep one shirt on is correct. To keep one shirt on. Yeah. Yeah, to keep one shirt on is correct. So the traffic in the big city is increasing by leaps and bounds. It has become difficult for the commuters to keep one shirt on when they are caught in a traffic jam. This question is for 3 marks. This question will be for 2 marks, by the way. Moving on. Yeah, the 5-mark question, right? This is a 5-mark question. So match it and tell me what are the answers. Yes, we are going to do letter writing as well, Anaga. What is the answer? So, where is college auditorium? The students were seated in their best dresses. The chief guest, who is chief guest, right? Who was a folk singer, entertained the students with her rhythmic songs. Which would be rhythmic songs? Students with their rhythmic songs, which the students enjoyed a lot. They participated in various cultural activities. So they refers to students. In various cultural activities. The college day concluded with a cultural program by the teachers. it was a memorable day in the student's life. It would be the college day. So what will the answers be? A2, B3, A2, B3, C6, C6, D5 and E1. Correct? A2, B3, C6, D5 and E1. It is college day, yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, moving on. Fill in the blanks with the passive form of the verb given. This is from another one of your question papers. Yeah, the cycling movement dash by Shira Lani Chunkat. Many rule women Pudukkottai dash. The famous cycling song dash. So what is the answer? What are the answers? Was initiated is correct. The cycling movement was initiated by Sheila Rani Chunkat. In many rural women in Pudukkottai were encouraged is also correct. Were encouraged by Arivoli Iyakam to learn cycling. A famous cycling song was written is correct. To encourage them. Yeah. Yeah, always be form of the verb with V3. Okay, combining. Fifth question, fill in the blanks by choosing the appropriate expressions given in bracket. The doctor suggests the diabetic patients to keep it in mind is correct, yeah. Keep it in mind. To follow particular order of consuming diverse food items. They further ask the patients to give up the consumption of junk food is correct. Give up the consumption of junk food. Keep it in mind and give up is correct. Yes, Leo Hari. Correct. Sixth one. Again, another one of those match the following questions. Match it for me. Tell me the answer. When Chandani entered the dance class, all her students, her would be Chandani, right? So 1, 4. Greeted her with a smile. They would be the students. So B5. It, as it was her birthday, it was the autobiography of Pratima. It would be the autobiography. It is the book. Okay. They gifted her a book to her as it was her birthday. Yeah. It is the book. Pratima. She is the founder. She would be Pratima Bedi, right? 3. She is Pratima Bedi. Which would be Nrityagrama. Which is Nrityagrama. Yeah, is it correct? Yeah, she is Pratima Bedi. Correct. 5-mark question. Moving on. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate passive form of the verb given in the... Another question from one of the question papers. Yeah. Next one. This is, I think, slightly more tricky. Let's see how you write it. How do you write it? Have been given is correct, yes. Because observes is in the simple present. So have been given is correct. Have been given is correct. To us for a purpose. All that happiness to us must Yeah, all that happens to us must be seen. Must be seen as raw materials. This material is transmuted. Yeah, because it's material, singular. Into art, and thus eternal works are made. Correct or not? Yeah, must be seen as raw materials. This material is transmuted. Is correct. Yeah. Yes, Leo Hari, correct. Fill in the blanks with appropriate expressions given in the bracket. Next question, guys, 8th question. The criminal complained that the king of Monaco ruined his character and people would turn their backs. Turn their backs on him, and in addition, he had got out of the way. Got out of the way of working. Yeah, correct? Correct. Moving on. Read the following paragraph and match the underlined pronouns in side A with noun phrases in side B. I had to go to the chief general manager with some important papers for approval. He thoroughly went through them. Them would be chief general the papers for approval, right? After the discussion, while I was leaving, he invited me to join the dinner at his residence, chief general manager's residence, along with my family. On the coming Sunday, he informed that he was inviting Mr. Raman Roy. Who would be Mr. Raman Roy? Who was the managing director of a popular startup, Minishas. That Minishas would be that. Has created new. I is the narrator, yeah. So 1, 3. B1. A3, B1. And sorry, A3, B1, H, C2. Sorry, C2, D5, and E4. E4, yeah. A3, B1, C2, D5. And E4 is correct. Correct? Reported speech is coming soon. We are discussing the PYQ, reported speech. Okay. Yeah, that is done. Moving on. Again, one of articles, word order, subject verb agreement, then verb form, then linkers. Okay. So I need the answer for the first one. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain, is correct. Is the tallest mountain peak in the world. We use the indefinite article the. Second question. Everything is fair in love and war is correct. Everything, because we don't have space, I'm not writing the sentence, I'll just number them. Everything is fair in love and war. Or is it war and love? Everything is fair. Okay. Okay. One of my friends. Next question. One of my friends is a beautiful Bharatanatyam dancer, is correct. You're talking about one of your friends. So singular subject verb. One of my friends is a beautiful Bharatanatyam dancer. Yeah, fourth one. God dash those who help themselves. God helps is correct, yes. It's in the simple present. God helps those who help themselves. You do not write is helping, it is simple present. So God helps those who help themselves. Yeah. Or question. Tamanna and Basavaya were rivals. If Tamanna bought 4 more acres adjacent to his land, Basavaya also followed suit, right? Basavaya also followed suit. If one had 10 friends, the other acquired 15 admirers. To begin with, all this looked like healthy competition. However, So this is the order. Also, to begin with, however, that. Is it correct? To begin with and however that. It's the order. Is it correct? Check. Basavai also followed suit. If one had 10 friends, the other acquired 15 admirers. To begin with, all this looked like healthy competition. However, gradually it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. Moving on. Rewrite as direct. Again, another one of from the another paper. Savitri. First question. Savitri is dash interesting person. What article will you use? The question paper will be according to the blueprint only, Shashikiran. Yes. Savitri is an interesting person. Okay. Yeah. Next, there are numerous languages in India. There are numerous languages in India is correct. Yeah, now can you see Ramaya? There are numerous languages in India. Correct. Correct. There are numerous languages in India. Yeah. The problem of the people dash solved easily by the CEO. The problem of the people dash solved easily by the CEO. The problem of the people The problem of the people is dash solved by easily by the CEO. Problem, yeah, it's not the people that we should be considering here. It is the problem. So the problem is singular. Okay, is solved easily by the CEO is correct. Okay, when the phone rang, I dash bath. What will come? I dash take bath. Use the appropriate form of the verb. When the phone rang, I was taking bath is correct. Yes. When the phone rang, because that particular moment, so you have to use continuous. When the phone rang, I was taking bath. Okay. Fill in the blanks with the right linkers. There are many commercial crops grown in Karnataka. Okay. Such as is correct, such as coconut, arecanut, sugarcane, etc. If there is no proper water supply, it would be difficult to get good yield. Even when there is good yield, there could be fall in the selling price. Therefore, the farmers are advised to practice. Therefore, the farmers are advised to practice. Is it correct? Took bath will not come. I took bath. When the phone rang, I took bath. No, you're talking about a particular time frame. No, so it was I was taking bath, right? No, it's I was taking bath. It's correct. Yeah. Is this correct? It is correct. Moving on. Yeah, one more. The coach is angry. The coach is angry. The coach is angry with his players is correct. Okay. Yeah, spice is the variety of life. Spice is the variety of life is correct. Yeah. On what? The list of items dash on the table. The list of items dash on the table. Sorry, my bad. It's supposed to be variety is the spice of life. Variety is the spice of life is correct. Variety is the spice of life. Is it correct? Variety is the spice of life. Variety is the spice of life. Yeah, correct. No, meaningful sentence. This is a quotation, by the way. So, variety is the spice of life is correct. You can, a coach is angry on his players is fine, but with his players is more appropriate. Okay. Yeah. The list of items. The list of items dash on the table. Yeah, the list of items dash on the table. Is it singular, is or are? It is the list, guys. The subject is the list, which is singular. Okay, the list is on the table. You dash a good job yesterday. You dash a good job yesterday. So what would come? You did a good job yesterday is correct. Yeah. You did a good job yesterday. Fill in the blanks with the right form, right linkers. Motor cars are extremely expensive in Brazil because of is correct. Yeah. Because of crippling and murderous import duties. Thus, almost everyone. No, yet almost everyone owns a car here. Thus, the roads in Brazil have heavy traffic. Because yet, is the order correct, guys? Just check. Because motor cars are extremely expensive in Brazil because of crippling and murderous import duties, yet almost everyone owns a car here. Because yet, hence, thus, is it correct? Owns a car. Hence, the roads in Brazil have heavy traffic. Yeah, thus is correct. Thus, the roads in Brazil have heavy traffic. Hence, the pedestrian's life is becoming more hazardous every day. Okay. Is it not correct? Thus, owns a car here. Hence, the okay, so hence is what comes here. Hence, the roads in Brazil have heavy traffic. Yeah, So thus the pedestrian's life is becoming more hazardous every day. Moving on. Rewrite as directed. Students should not waste their time during exams. Next question. Students should, exact questions will not come praful, but the same pattern will be followed, okay? So you will know which question will come where. 31st question will be, you will have linkers, 32nd question will have question tags, similarly, okay? Pattern will be the same. Moving on, students should not waste their time during exams. Should they is correct. Should they. Why they? Because students, it's plural subject. Childhood is the most enjoyable phase in a person's life. Frame WH question to get the underlined word as answer. I think childhood is underlined. So what will be the answer? See, it won't be should they, guys, because it should not given in the sentence. It's already a negative sentence. Understood? Yeah. Which is the most enjoyable phase is correct. Which is the most enjoyable phase. Which is the most enjoyable phase in a person's life is correct. Okay, so you get childhood as the answer. Which is the most enjoyable phase is correct. Rectify the error in the following sentence. Error correction. Children's love to eat ice cream every day. Children's, is it children's or is it children? Plural, yeah. Wrong usage of the word. Children's is wrong, it is children. Okay, you have to rewrite the sentence in the exam. I'll just rectify the error for you. Children love to eat ice cream every day. Sannidhi goes for a walk on the morning every day. Is again an error in the preposition. Goes for a walk in the morning is correct. Walk in the morning every day is correct. Moving on. Rewrite as that. My mother seldom goes to parties. This is a bit tricky. Okay, be careful. My mother seldom goes to parties. Dash. What question tag will come? It's a sentence in the simple present. Okay, so what is the verb you'll use? It's a bit tricky. Isn't she? No way. Where? Why isn't she? No. It's not doesn't she also. It is does she. Okay. Why is it does she? Because seldom means very rarely. Okay. Seldom means very rarely. Seldom is going rarely. So this sentence is obviously negative. Okay. So my mother seldom goes to parties. Does she is correct. That is why I said it's tricky. Okay, be careful. Manoj has chosen a classic novel. Frame a WH question. Yeah. So here what will you frame? What has Manoj chosen? What has Manoj chosen is correct. Okay. Yeah, seldom is negative. Yeah. What has Manoj chosen is correct. Rectify the error. Her husband cut vegetables every day. No, what type of novel is not needed. What has Manoj chosen? Okay. Cuts is correct. Yes. Cut becomes cuts. Her husband cuts vegetables every day. Gandhiji was assassinated on 1948. It would be in, okay? In 1948. Gandhiji was assassinated in 1948. Yeah, hi Ashwini Shinde. Yeah, in 1948. Again, we have framed. Yeah. So what question will you frame? Hi. Whose father is a doctor? Is a doctor. Okay. The members understood the situation. Change into a question using the right form of do. Understood is in the past. So did the members. Did the members is correct. Did the members understand? Okay, when you're using do verb, the main verb should get back to its default root form. Okay, so did the members understand? Whose father is A doctor. Use the correct article. Don't say the doctor. It will be wrong because in the question also it's given a. So in the answer also you should have the same article. Okay, whose father is a doctor. Why did you brought this? Error correction. Why did you brought this? Supposed to be why did you bring this? Right. Wrong verb form. Smita is looking gorgeous in pink sari. Smita is looking gorgeous in pink sari. What is the error here? No, is will not become was. It's wrong. Smita looks gorgeous. Yeah, tense change. Smita looks gorgeous in pink sari is correct. If it was in a, if article was used, you can say in a pink sari. So Smita looks gorgeous in pink sari is correct. Moving on, a reported speech. Most of you are waiting for this, right? Very important reported speech question. Okay. So Alifano and conversations between Alifano and Borges, right? So it's a question. Alifano asked why asked? Because conversation is already complete. Okay, it's done. Asked Borges if we becomes they. Okay, if they could talk about Donna Leonor. His mother. Okay. Yeah. Borges replied that his mother was. So you can either write as points, okay, like first sentence, second sentence. You can either write it sentence wise or you can write it in one paragraph, okay. But keep in mind that each conversation should be a separate sentence, okay. Don't combine. Each conversation should be a separate sentence. You can write it as one paragraph or you can write it, leave a space and write separate, okay. Borges replied that his mother okay, now listen here, this part is tricky, okay. My mother was an extraordinary woman is in simple past. So when you're reporting simple past, what is the tense that should be coming? Simple past should become past perfect. So my mother had been an extraordinary woman is correct. Okay, most of you make mistake here. Understood? Converting simple past to past perfect. My mother had been, sorry, his mother had been an extraordinary woman. Alifano asks, okay, what does Alifano ask? Alifano asks Borges what blindness was to him, okay, what blindness was to him. To him. You can ignore this and then just report this, okay. Borges replied that it was a way of life then because now is given. So it was a way of life then, and that his duty, okay, his duty is becomes was. His duty was to accept that. It becomes that, okay. His duty was to accept that. Yeah, here also, that was a way of life, okay. Yeah. So keep in mind tense change and change of persons, okay. Now here change of person because we. They will talk to each other, we. But when we are reporting, we report in the third person. So we will become they. Keep this in mind. We'll report one more question, okay. So your doubts will, two more questions we have. So this and next one, we'll report that and that way your doubts will be clear. Neha and Smita is a conversation. So Neha asked Smita. What she was, okay, is, am, is, are becomes past. What she was so excited about. Excited about. So Smita replied that her, my becomes her, okay, her presentation got first prize in the competition today becomes that day, okay, competition that day. Then next Smita, then Neha, again Neha is asking question, yes or no question, is it one about child labor? So Neha asked if it was, okay, is becomes was, if it was the one about child labor. If it was the one about child labor, Smita replies affirmatively, yes. When the conversation has a yes, when you report it, you say in the affirmative. Smita replies affirmatively. And here the sentence is already in the simple past. So when you're reporting, no change. Okay, affirmatively saying that she had been preparing for it. Been preparing for it for a week. Okay, preparing, you can report this sentence as it is, preparing for it for a week. For Neha, congrats. So congrats is given. Neha congratulates Smita, saying that she was, okay, am becomes was, she was happy for, you will become again her. Okay, she was happy for her. So this is how you report it. Keep in mind the tense change, the change in persons also. Okay. Neha congratulated Smita, saying that she was happy for her. One more question. Yeah, one more question. No, Selvianand, I haven't had my lunch. I will have it in another 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Pace MC. It changes to that. Yes, it also changes to that. It changes to that here. Where else has it come? Yeah, to which Neha asks if that was the one. It becomes that. Yeah, that is also there. Yeah, this question, report it for me. Roof, what does Roof say? Roof tells the Pope leader. The PUC leader. So how do we report it? He works for Marcus eBay is correct, because at this point he's still working. Okay, so which is why you're reporting that he works for Marcus eBay. POP leader replied that they had that they had. So we become they. Keep in mind the change of person, okay, very important. They have will become had. They had plenty of work. To do that night. Why that night? Because tonight becomes that night. If it's today, it becomes that day. Similarly, tonight becomes that night. And asked if he's taking it or not. Taking, this is given, so this becomes that. So what does Roof do? Taking it no, it will not come. See this, right? This becomes that, taking that or not. So Roof asks, okay. Roof asked, yeah, if it would be heard outside this room. This becomes again that, outside that room. Outside that room, okay. So Roof asked if that would be heard outside that room. No, it's because, see, yes or no question you should always report with if or whether, understood? If or whether, if it's a yes or no question. This is a yes or no question, so you're reporting with if or whether. If it would be heard outside that room, okay? To which POP leader replied that we become they. They are after votes. Sorry, they are becomes were, my bad. They were after votes, not gossip. So importantly, very importantly, see which are the things that you should be changing, okay. Now in this also, see what the tense is, okay. See where you will change, see the change of person, okay. The first person gets changed to third person, okay. Here also same thing. First person gets changed to first person gets changed to third person. And see the change in tense, see the change in the modal verbs, will becoming would, okay. See how question is framed and see how you report that question. If it's a WH question, how will you report it? If it's a yes or no question, how will you report it? Then again, change in person. Each of the conversation, check what are the changes you should be making. And when you report it, no, cross check again. See if you have reported it correctly. You will make mistake, because I also make mistake when I write the first time. So I will read the question again to see if I changed everything, okay? Do the same. It to that, where exactly did we write it? If, sorry, here, if is becomes was, sorry, if he was taking that or not. Roof asked if, again, that. Yeah, good. So the same way, see, the same way how I made mistakes, you will also make mistake in the exam. So read the question, read your answer again. See what only you should change. Okay. First time you write the answer, okay. Then you check, if you have the pencil, write the answer in pencil once. Then you see if it is reported correctly, okay. If it is reported correctly, then you write with pen on top of that. Otherwise, you make your changes, okay. If he was taking that or not, Roof asked if that would be heard outside that room is correct, yeah. Yeah, reported speech is mandatory, so you cannot skip it. Write first in pencil, okay, and see if yours is perfectly correct. Then you write on top of that in pen. If it's not correct, then you erase it and alter it accordingly, okay. Moving on. Letter of application. So guys, letter of application, I will be showing you the topper's answer, okay. This is how you're supposed to write the letter of application. So very important. See this. This is the last question. We'll finish after this, okay. So here is your letter of application. It's from the topper's answer sheet. Understood? The topper's answer sheet, from address, okay, from date. See how the topper has written the date, okay. This is how you're supposed to write the date, okay, the full date, okay. Then the to address, again from and to. You do not write the words from and to, you just write the address, okay. See, from, date and to address will be given in a question itself, okay. Then leave a line, salutation, okay. As I told you guys, you can write dear sir also, but I would suggest respected sir. Here the student has also written respected sir, so respected sir / madam would be better, okay. Then subject, okay, subject, that is giving a rough idea of what your letter is about. Here it's a job application, so application for the post of so and so assistant. Then the reference, okay, reference which appeared. Reference is the newspaper advertisement basically. You should mention that also after subject, very important, okay. After that, the body of the letter, okay. You can notice how the student divides the body of the letter in 3 paragraphs, okay. That is how you're supposed to do it also. So see the second paragraph and the third paragraph, okay, the third paragraph. So 3 paragraphs, the student divides into 3 paragraphs, and that is how it is written, okay, 3 paragraphs. Then conclusion, okay, thank you. You don't write thanking you is wrong, okay. Do not write thanking you, that is wrong. Thanking you is wrong, it's thank you, okay. Thank you, yours faithfully, and keep in mind, don't write your name or signature, okay. Yours faithfully 4x or 3x depending on how the question is, okay. Then you should attach the resume. It is a letter of application, so you should write the resume. So this is your resume. Write the heading resume, then name as in the question. Don't write your own name. In the question it's given XXX, so in the question, so XXX 4x. Father's name, again imaginary name, okay. Date of birth, again it's up to you to write your own date of birth or an imaginary date of birth. Student has written an imaginary date of birth. Mobile number, again something, okay. Basic idea is don't disclose any personal information, okay. Email ID, okay. Nationality, educational qualifications. So this is a very important table, okay. In your resume also, when you're writing your resume, make sure that you draw this table, okay. Draw this table 4 columns, okay. Course, board, year and percentage, okay, very important. Then additional qualifications, work experience, okay. Most important are these details, okay. You should never forget these details, okay. These, and if you forget also, still okay, fine, manageable, but these details are very important, okay. Work experience, then hobbies, yeah. Then after you write all those, you should also importantly write a declaration, okay. This is very important. This is very important, okay. Declaration. I hereby declare that all the above information is true to my knowledge. This sentence should be added in your resume, okay. So I don't know if this sentence is given as it is in the resume format, but make sure you write this, okay? Once your resume is done, write this sentence also, okay? Then place again, from address, YYY, date, okay? And your signature is again XX, 4X only. So this is how you write your resume. You write this in the exact format, you get full marks, okay? So I hope you guys at this session, live session, turned out to be very helpful. I hope your preparations are going very well, okay? Do some quick revision, okay? Breathe in, breathe out, okay? Be calm, because English exam is going to be easy only, okay, for you guys. So I know you guys can crack it, you guys will ace it, okay? So all the best, okay? Prepare well. Thank you.